What do we think is the truth about where Liverpool are at the moment? Phil's doing commentary on this one, and he was saying he thinks it could be the last game.
This Sunday.
Could be Sloth's last game.
Was for Ten Hag.
It's West Ham, yeah.
If you get beat by West Ham, everyone's like, okay, we can explain away everything else. We can't explain this.
Yeah, it's bad enough. The only thing I'll say is West Ham's record against Liverpool is atrocious. We've only beaten them once in, I think, the last 6 years. We beat them 3-2. It was also in November, actually, back in 2021. Zuma scored a late header to win it. But their record at the London Stadium, like, very tough place to go, as everyone knows, is like brilliant. And it's so hard to create an atmosphere in that stadium when things go bad against you. If Liverpool put in a goal early, like, Liverpool are still within their capabilities to run away with this sort of thing. I don't think they're near. I think he has so much credit in the bank from winning a league that
I would agree. I think it'd be mad to
like
under the circumstances of what's happened. I think it would be mad to be getting rid of him. I do think though that there is now a situation where the confidence has drained from them so spectacularly that they're pretty good. They've been pretty good for 30 minutes in most games, but once the chances get missed, everybody's shoulders slump.
Claudio Ranieri got sacked a year after he won the league for Leicester, and Mourinho got sacked the year after he won the league with Chelsea, which was the year before that. So it's not like absolutely unheard of, but the slumps had just got into a stage where it was so bad they had to do something. Like, real disaster was going to strike. I don't think Liverpool are far away from that. Like, it's another few weeks. I don't think it's after this game, but like watching them on Wednesday,
I think West Ham might be a great bet this weekend, but
that's what I think so too. Watching on Wednesday night, like, you asked what's the real Liverpool. At the moment, the real Liverpool is utter capitulation. So things might go well for them. West Ham might not lay a glove on them, and they might casually win 2-0. But they're not. You kind of had a feeling Forest were going to get at them, and when things went against them, they fell apart. And the same thing happened with PSV. As soon as that second goal went in, Liverpool had used up all the resilience, and it was just back to. And look, again, I don't really. It's not a nice thing to bring up, but there's things going on that we don't know about, like that. You wouldn't be too harsh on them.
That's what I mean.
This year, like, personally, you know, like, because you can imagine that the well isn't very full. You know, when you do have to show that resilience. But even outside of that, regardless of that, I suppose, how can we trust them to go and kind of maybe they weren't as good as they were last year, and maybe the new system isn't working and they brought in too many players and all that, but they're still better than this. But at the moment, they're not showing it.
Do you think that they should drop Mohamed Salah? Like, he's been pretty terrible for a couple of weeks, and his form has like really regressed since the back end of last season.
I'd say probably, yeah, but it's like Salah wasn't the one catching the ball in the penalty area. That was Van Dijk, your captain and leader.
He was the one that was pressing the left back against PSV, and he just went past him like he wasn't even there. Like,
yeah,
I think
that does happen to forward players a lot. Like,
given they've no right backs at the moment, and given that, like, their 150 million striker or whatever they ended up paying for him literally is hitting air balls whenever it goes near, and the rest of the time isn't going near the ball. You know, I wonder is if they had if they had a striking alternative where it was like, our aim is to play Wirtz behind Ekitike and Isak, and that's going to clean up. They don't have anything else.
Surely they should do that.
Cody Gakpo couldn't get dropped if he went out and, like, you know, I can't think of something silly that Cody Gakpo could do, because he still wouldn't get dropped.
They need a little bit of Harvey Elliott. They can get him at Christmas. I know we could put him in touch with.
Possibly not, from what I'm hearing.
What do you mean?
The seemingly the tactics behind Villa putting him out in the cold, and this started by the fact that Harvey Elliott seems to have a good attitude about the whole thing. He's posting Instagram posts saying get in there about Villa winning. And it seems to me that there might be a financial year issue, that as soon as the must-buy clause is triggered, then that will contribute to the year in question and the finances. Now, I'm not exactly sure how true that is.
So you think they still do want him?
Well, Emery spoke about him coming into the team in January during the week in a press conference.
Right. So it's a 2025 thing.
It might be a 2025 thing, yeah. Okay. But I don't. See, they're not buying him until the summer anyway.
Harvey Elliott's going to wait.
So they're not buying him until the summer anyway. So I don't understand how PSR is affected by them triggering the buy in December.
Well, it'd be.
But at the same time, that seems to be a theory out there anyway.
You would suddenly have Liverpool as a creditor now, whereas you'll have them as a creditor in January.
There you go. That's a good explanation.
I don't think he's going to solve any of Liverpool's problems.
Just trying to get rid of him. Just trying to get rid of him.
Can he play right back?
He could be great though, Ger.
Can he play left back?
It'd be great.
And he could play right midfield if you're looking for someone that's actually going to put a shift in.
I think the structure of the whole team needs a bit of a change. Like
I think, I don't want to sound too outrageous about it, but like I had this kind of feeling about 2 weeks ago that even talk of Slot going was ridiculous. Like I put so much credit in the fact that you've won a league into the fact that you shouldn't even be the sack shouldn't even be a thought until anywhere near, if it's the end of the season and the form is still so bad and they're 40th in the table, then it comes into effect. But like, are we forgetting Klopp's title defence where it was like labelled as a catastrophe?
And his last season. You know,
Klopp's title defence, they lost 6 home games in a row. It was an Anfield record. And there was no talk of any sort of Klopp sack. You know?
There's a bit of
Klopp had
COVID,
also
though.
won the Champions League.
Klopp won the Champions League. Like Arne Slot just came in and won the Premier League
and
in
a
his
league title. But I'm not suggesting. I think like when I saw some like Liverpool Twitter activity, I would say it's probably not the high end fan about like Slot just not having it and this is a disaster and it's all going to him. 4 or 5 weeks ago, I thought it was one of the craziest things I'd ever heard, and I was completely.
Now you've changed your mind.
No, I don't.
New information came to light.
I don't think he should be sacked, but I was watching him, and Wednesday happened since this. But on Monday's show, I was talking about watching him on Saturday, thinking something has to be done. Like, how has he let it slide this bad? Like, this is a disaster. Like, they're getting hammered in every game. They got beaten by 3 goals at home. They got beaten by a combined 6 goals in 2 games at Anfield this week.
Yeah.
And
to PSV and Notts Forest. It's not as if they were playing Real Madrid and Man City.
Yeah.
It's the worst form since the early 1950s, isn't it?
It's bad. It is.
Like, we have to be realistic about it. Just because he won the league last year.
It's mad that City had a similar thing happen to them last year. This hasn't. It's now. I don't know what's going on.
And City were a very good example because they were like that where. I remember talking before about the game at Villa Park just being this weird feeling of this like really comfortable home win where they were 2-0 up with a few minutes to go and they conceded I think Haaland scored and you weren't even worried about it. It was like playing against
Liverpool
Wolves.
I was going to say a couple of weeks ago that would have been a different
you know, it just had that sort of like, you know, this is routine Saturday afternoon stuff, like, you know,
Young boys.
Obviously City did get it back together in the second half of the season.
Okay, do we want to talk Chelsea Arsenal? So our live games on Sunday for you are West Ham versus Liverpool, 4:05. That's
2:05.
2:05. Sorry, 2:05. Graham Gartland and Phil Egan on duty for that one, and it's Keith Tracy and Stephen Doyle on duty for Chelsea against Arsenal. Interesting question from Lee about what Chelsea's approach going to be. It should be to go out and try and assert their. No, we're the big dogs. We've got the best central midfield partnership in the league, not you guys.
And we just beat Barcelona 3-0 at the weekend, or during the week, and we're brilliant.
And Cole Palmer's back in the squad.
Cole Palmer's back. The only thing is you're going up against an Arsenal that did just beat Bayern Munich during the week.
Yeah.
I know, but
so don't back away. Don't back away from the fight. Like, go and shit kick them and.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is about Arsenal, like the one thing I know we talked about there about champions elect and maybe it being a bit too soon to talk about that. They are obviously only 6 points and like Chelsea win this, it's 3 points. One slip up in your back level. The only thing I will say about Arsenal is that from what I've seen is that there's been a serious change in attitude, and like I was looking at Arteta's comments during the week for a Bayern Munich game and it was like, yeah, you know, we're nowhere near them in terms of European accolades, but it's like we don't fear them. He's talking about Harry Kane, who has 14 goals in 11 Bundesliga games. He says, we don't fear Harry Kane. Why do we fear Harry Kane? And then Jurrien Timber comes out to the press and he says, I can't wait to play against Harry Kane. We're at this level now where we can go toe to toe with these teams and beat them comfortably 3-1. So I think Arsenal are like going into these games with like an air supreme of confidence. It's like they're not taking Chelsea. If Chelsea come out with that big fight that we're talking about, like I don't think Arsenal are going to be.
No, they'll be ready for it. But it's almost like having to go and beat Arsenal despite doing everything right is still going to be really, really difficult and might not happen. But you kind of want to see Chelsea put their best foot forward, or else we can kind of say, right, we can rule them out too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we ruled Liverpool out already, and you know, I suggested on last week's show here when Owen was having a panic attack about Arsenal and Man City been on the run, I was like, you know, City are vulnerable, like away from home against lower top tier teams like Newcastle and Villa and everything like that. And that's just not, you're not going to win the league like that. And they went out and lost to Newcastle. I just think.
No, I think they got robbed. I think they should have had a penalty in the first half, and I think the Newcastle goal, where there was a foul on the goalkeeper. It's mad that this still is happening. When anyway, go on.
I just think they're slightly vulnerable. They're not who they were.
It's Donnarumma. That's my issue.
And Chelsea, I think, they've just a chance to build on something. They've had a few good results building into Tuesday night, and then they were brilliant on Tuesday. They dominated Barcelona even before the yellow card, before the red card. And Neto probably had his best game for Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez probably had one of his best ever games for Chelsea. Does he drop back into central midfield now when Palmer comes back? I don't know. I'd personally keep Palmer on the bench for another week and keep him in that kind of form. And I wonder as well about loading the midfield and bringing in what's his name? Sanchez? No.
Lavia?
No, not Lavia. The guy who played last week.
Estevao.
No,
Steve-O.
No, okay, forget it. I'll get his name in a second.
Romeo Lavia.
No, it's not Lavia. He played last week instead of Caicedo, and he was brought on at half time against Barca for Gusto, and they put Reece James right back because I think they wanted them to play together. We're all blanking on this person's name, but he was really, really good in both games, and I think that they might.
They played Reece James and Moses Caicedo.
Then it was a half-time
Santos.
change.
Santos.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Andrew.
once you get that wrong, you can't go back in your head. And you can't get it right. Andre Santos. Yeah. So I wonder if they might go with if they might go with Santos and Caicedo and give a little bit of freedom then to Enzo.
Yeah, I know I said it here before that Enzo Fernandez's best position is probably in like the number 10.
Absolutely.
And I think he's actually improved a little bit since Cole Palmer's not been in the team. But the thing is, though, Estevao on the right is like a superstar, 18-year-old Brazilian.
Santos is 21, I just checked there.
Yeah.
Good squad, there's Chelsea side. The other side of this, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say about Fernandez. The other thing about Fernandez is I always think when you play him and Caicedo in the midfield together, it's like he doesn't trust Fernandez to do that job with Caicedo, and then the wing backs aren't allowed to get forward. So I 100% agree. I think Fernandez's best position is ahead of that.
Yeah. It's
just who plays beside Caicedo. Is Andre Santos going to be good enough in the long run?
Yeah,
he could be the answer.
Well, I think they've been waiting for him for a while, and it does. Again, it's early yet, but I'm just saying if you want that kind of, I think he might be a better option this weekend than Reece James. And then you play James right back. Personally,
yeah, they don't seem to want to play him there anymore or that much.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the injuries are taking their toll, and he can't do the thing that.
And I think Reece James has been excellent this season, though, at right back. Even at centre midfield, he's been okay, but I think he's been kind of pushing into centre midfield when they don't have the ball and they're kind of stopping the counter attack. So,
and the other thing is, I think he brings sort of a little bit of heart that Chelsea have kind of needed. We talked at the start of the year about this being kind of a more settled team. You need Reece James at the heart of that. And then the other thing is, Wesley Fofana played during the week and played well. And I don't know where we're just waiting for this guy to be the player we think he is.
Yeah.
For however long now, but their centre backs are bad. There's a chance there if he's even 2/3 of what they thought they signed. Yeah. That can be a massive improvement from what they have there with Tosson and Shabala and so on.
Jonathan Wilson made the point that there's something about his running style that causes the injury that they haven't been able to fix in the past. Sorry, we've been talking all about Chelsea here. The other side of this is if you're Arsenal, you go and you smash Chelsea and you say thanks very much, we're going to coast to the league.
Easy.
And it's over. And then, like, I know it's only 3.0 suddenly, but you can also talk yourself into this being 9 points at the end of play at the weekend, and actually everybody else, they've just sacked everybody and it's chaos, and it's and this is with all their strikers injured.
This could be the week you hammer Spurs with a big new local hero scoring a hat-trick. You go and you take care of business against Bayern Munich, and then you go and have another London derby and possibly wrap up the league.
So
this could be the week of weeks for Arsenal.
It absolutely could be, but I also think because they have those two results in the bag, I think Arteta comes if it's a 0-0 or 1-1 after 60-70 minutes. I think he'll shut up shop and be like, look, we'll stick where we are. We'll stick 3 points ahead. Or 6 points ahead, and we'll be we'll be okay, because in last week all the teams in the top 6 dropped points. It was a great weekend for Arsenal, so I don't think he has the.
Don't know if all the teams in the top 6 drop points.
Yeah, as in previous to the last week.
Right. You're not giving Villa no flowers for Villa, no.
No, but so I just think he doesn't have the killer instinct sometimes Arteta lacks.
And that is the other side. Like, go and do it this week.
Yeah.
Wrap it up. Take it easy. If they're going to win a league, wouldn't it be much easier to win win it by Christmas.
Yeah. I
And
think
not have the fear and loathing all the way through to the March where the collapse happens. It's like, oh, it's happened again.
I think that's a really interesting point from both of you, because I think you're right. That's our biggest criticism of Arteta, wasn't it? Like it was against Liverpool earlier on the season.
Yeah.
Can't remember what other game it was. Maybe it was Champions League. Was it where or City? It was,
yeah.
and they just didn't go for it. It's like, if what Ben was talking about earlier about the supreme confidence and the realisation in Arsenal that they belong,
Yeah.
we might see that's actually the key this week, isn't it? If there is 70 minutes gone and it's 1-1, what Arsenal do we see? Because I think if they do,
And who makes the aggressive substitutions?
if they go that next level and go and try and win this game, and even if they don't win it, I'll be so much more convinced that Arsenal are the team then.
Are you going to bring on Trossard, or are you going to bring on Calafiori? Like that's the sub. Like, are you going to?
And it's tended to be Calafiori, hasn't it? That's the problem.
Yeah, tend to be. But then again, Arsenal might be fine with just we'll play the long game and we'll pick up points here and there. And
They could be,
games.
but you
Still
are
without
building in
Gabriel.
potential for failure. You know, when you're at bat and your form is good, try and punch everybody else in the mouth. Right, final one standing off the ball is brought to you by William Hill. Download the app and play today. It's over 18s only. See gamblingcare.ie for more. See you next week, folks.
The Final One Standing by William Hill on Off the Ball. Download the app and play today. 18 plus gamblingcare.ie.